Hello everyone, I'm Sadashivrao and welcome to Sada Learning Hub. In this video, I'm going to discuss about select operation in many to one. If you're using the many to one relationship, how to select the data from the database. For this, if you see in the many to one, a child object can be selected in the two ways. If you want to select the data in the many to one, there is a two ways to get the child object. The first one is we can load only child object without associated the parent object. We can load only child object without associated parent object. The second one is we can load a child object with a parent object, the associated parent object. See, there is a with associated parent object, without associated parent object. If you want parent object, we can load, or if you don't want parent object, you don't want to load. There is a two different ways to load a child object in the many to one relationship. In the many to one tag, we can add lazy attribute to load only childs and parents. Child or child and parents. There is a one to many tag is available. If you see in my previous video, I discussed how to insert the record into the database. In this video, I'm going to configure one to many to one tag in my child mapping file. This one to many to one tag, we add a lazy attribute also. I added the lazy attribute also. That lazy attributes we are going to act as, if you want load the child, we can put it the lazy is equal to true. If you want to load parent and child and parent at a time, we are going to use lazy is equal to false. Now, the default value of lazy attribute in many to one is proxy. If you see, the default value of lazy in the many to one is proxy. Proxy loading means it's lazy loading. Proxy loading is nothing but lazy loading. Whenever you are clicking on the load, it doesn't load the data, it just loads the proxy objects. In the proxy loading, only child objects are loaded from the database without the parent objects. In the proxy loading, if you see, the default value of lazy in the many to one is proxy. Proxy means it loads only child objects. It loads only child objects. It doesn't loads the parent objects. It only loads the child object. It doesn't loads the parent object. If you want to load a parent object without a child objects, then lazy is equal to false is required. If you don't want to load a parent objects, then we are going to put lazy is equal to false. If lazy is equal to false, then it is called early loading or eager loading. See, if you are putting lazy is equal to false means it loads early loading or eager loading. Means, sorry, just now I said wrongly. If you are using the lazy is equal to false, it loads parent and child objects at a time. It loads parent and child objects at a time. I will show you what is the difference between lazy is equal to true and lazy is equal to false. If you are putting the lazy is equal to true, it loads only the child objects. If you are putting the lazy is equal to false, it loads parent and child objects at a time. Right? Here, select operation is depends on the attribute called lazy. The attribute called lazy. There is a one to many to one is an tag is there. For the tag, lazy is an attribute. Depends on the lazy attribute, the select operation is going on. If you are putting the lazy is equal to false, it means it is a early loading or eager loading, means it is going to select, it is going to fetch the records from the database at a time. If it is lazy is equal to true, means it loads only the child objects. Now I'm going to show one example for this. I'm going to create one example many to one application. In the many to one application, I'm going to create two tables. I'm going to play with the two tables, that is called vendor table is my parent table, and coming here customer is my child table. Vendor table is my parent table and customer is my child table. Now In the vendor table, vendor ID is my primary key and the customer table, when ID is my foreign key. See, this is the primary key and this is my foreign key. Now I'm going to establish relation between the two tables by using the vendor ID. By using the vendor ID, I'm establishing the relationship. Coming to the resource files, there is a three resource files are available. The first one is hibernate.cfg.xml. It contains connection properties and Hibernate properties and as well as resource files information. Customer.hbm.xml. This is the customer mapping file. It is going to map your customer Pojo class with the customer table in the database. Now vendor.hbm.xml, it is going to map your vendor Pojo class with a vendor table. Now here coming to the Java classes, I'm going to use three Java classes. Customer.java is my child class and child Pojo class, and vendor.java is my parent Pojo class. Coming here, one to many select parent client. Here I'm going to use to select the parent. This is I'm going to test my application by using this client. Now I'm going to explain a simple example with this, how to configure a select operation. After that, now first I'm going to explain the XML based. After that, I'm going to explain annotation based. If you see first XML based application. See, I'm going to create one simple Maven project called many to one application. See, in the pom.xml, I configured my required dependencies, Hibernate dependencies, and database dependency at here. Coming to the resource files, hibernate.cfg.xml. This is my hibernate.cfg.xml. It contains the connection properties and Hibernate properties and mapping resource files. Next, coming to vendor.java, vendor mapping file. This is my parent mapping file. This is my parent. You see, this parent contains. I'm going to open my vendor Pojo class also. This is my vendor Pojo class and put side by side. It will easy to explain you guys. See, this is my vendor Pojo class. Now this is first column vendor ID. Here vendor ID is my primary key. Next coming to non-primary key column. This is my vendor name is my non-primary key column. Next move to the child Pojo class. Now I'm going to open the child Pojo class. This is my child Pojo class. I'm going to move it here. See, this is my child Pojo class. In the child Pojo class, if you see in the child Pojo class, I'm going to create the three properties. The first one is my primary key column. Customer ID is my primary key column, and customer name and the customer address are the non-primary key columns. These two are the non-primary key columns. And in the many to one, what we need to do, each and parent we need to add to each and every child object. We need to add parent to each and every child object. That's why I'm going to take a parent reference in the child. For that, what I'm going to configure at here, for this I'm going to configure many to one tag. If you see in the many to one tag, this is my many to one tag. This is my class name, which class we are going to establish the relation, vendor class. Vendor and the customer class, I'm going to establish the relation. And vendor ID, this is the property name in the customer class. See, this is the property name. And coming here, column name, which column it is going to act as a foreign key in the customer table. This is my foreign name, foreign key column name. And coming to here, cascade is equal to all, means whenever doing the operation on the child table, automatically it is going to reflect in the parent also. Now see, lazy is equal to proxy, means it loads only childs. For example, if I am putting lazy is equal to true, there is a different values are available for the lazy attribute. Now if I'm putting the lazy is equal to true means it loads only child objects. Based on the demand, it is going to load the parent object. Now, if you want, based on the demand, it is going to load the objects. Now, see, for example, if you are putting the false. Now, if you put the true at here, lazy is equal to true, means lazy loading. It loads only the child objects. It doesn't loads the parent objects, right? That's why I'm putting the lazy is equal to true. I will show you how it loads. Now, this is the many to one tag. Now, these are the different attributes are available to put for the many to one tag. Now, this is the lazy tag. Lazy is an attribute. It is going to check how we are loading. Now, if you are putting the false, I'm going to use false at here. See, whenever you're putting the false, it will loads parent and as well as the child at a time. Now, if you see an example for this select operation, now I'm created a one simple select operation. See for this is my select operation. For this, what I'm going to do, first I'm loading my configuration file. After that, I'm creating my session factory bean object. Simply, I'm going to opening my session object. I'm going to load my child object, 501 child object. See here, after getting the 501, I'm going to load my parent object as well. This is my get vendor means I'm getting the vendor. Now here in the customer.hbm.xml, you are putting lazy is equal to false, means it is a early loading. Now at a time it loads parent and child at a time. It doesn't hit the two times on the database. See, this is my child and this is my corresponding parent of this particular child. This is the way to you load a parent object from the database. Next, I'm going to explain how to load a records from the database by using many to one, by using annotation. This is about XML based configuration. Next, I'm going to explain the annotation based configuration. Now, I am created a simple project called many to one application annotation. See, this is my simple application. I'm putting all my required dependencies in the pom.xml file. Next, coming to the resource files, this is my resource file. These are all my connection properties and these are my Hibernate properties. And coming to here, these are all my resource files. Next, moving to the models. This is my parent Pojo class. This is my parent Pojo class. Here I'm using annotations. At the rate entity means it is going to treat it as a persistence class. At the rate table means now I'm going to map this particular Pojo class with this particular table. At the rate ID means this is the primary key column and this is my non-primary key columns. Now coming to the child Pojo class. In the child Pojo class, this is also acting an entity class. Now at the rate table means this particular class is going to map with this particular table. Customer Pojo class is going to map with the customer table. This is my primary key column. These two are non-primary key columns. If you see in the many to one, each and every parent object we need to add it into each and every child object. For that we need the reference of a parent into the child. Now I'm creating the reference of the parent in the child object. Now I'm going to use at the rate many to one. many to one. Now my customer class is going to establish the relationship with a vendor class. After this, cascade is equal to cascade type dot all means whatever the operations you are doing the child, it will automatically reflect in the parent by putting the all. Next coming here, fetch is equal to fetch type dot lazy. Whenever you're putting the lazy, it will loads only the child objects. It doesn't loads the parent objects. If you are putting the eager, it will loads the child and parent objects at a time. Now this is the primary. This is my foreign key column in the customer table. It is going to establish relation with the vendor table. Now coming to here, select operation. See here, I'm going to create a simple example. First, I'm loading my configuration file at here. After loading the configuration file, I'm going to create a session factory bean object. After that, simply I'm going to create a session object. Now I'm loading the customer by calling the get method. Get method retrieves the record from the database. Now after printing, I'm loading the corresponding parent of the child by calling the get vendor method. It is going to retrieve the corresponding parent of the child. Now I'm printing it here. If you see in the customers, I'm putting the lazy means it is going to first loads the customer child information, means customer information. After printing, whenever you are calling the get customers, it is going to hit the one more time in the database. It loads the vendor information. I will show you, run and show you how it looks. Means it will uh, hit the queries two times. See here, it will hit the queries two times. Now, if I'm putting here eager loading, if you put the eager loading at here, if you put the eager loading at here, now it will database hit is only once. It doesn't hit the two times. If you see, if you're putting the lazy, it will hit the database two times. If you're putting the eager, it will hit the database only once. I will show you. See, it is hitting the only once. It is not hitting the two times. If you are putting the lazy loading, it will hit the two times. If you are putting the eager loading, it will hit the only once. Means here the select operation only depends on fetch type. Only depends on the fetch type. If you are putting the fetch type dot lazy, it will loads two times based on the demand. Whenever you're putting the fetch type dot lazy, it loads only child objects. Based on the demand, it will going to hit the database for the parent object. If you're putting the eager loading, it will loads parent and child objects at a time. That is about select operation on the many to one. This is about the annotation based. See here, there is no mapping file at here. Why? Because we are not using XML based configurations. That's why we are there is no mapping files in the annotation here. We are using the annotation set here. That is about to configure the annotations in the many to one. Next video, I'm going to discuss about how to delete the record from the database in case of many to one relationship. How to delete the record from the database in case of many to one relationship. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe my channel Sada Learning Hub. If you like this video, please click on like button. Thank you for watching.
Thank you so much watching this video. Hope this lesson helpful to you. Keep watching our lessons. Keep writing to us. Do not forget subscribe our channel Sada.Learning Hub because we have many sessions that would help you to develop our skills, and I will be back soon. Till then you take care. Bye bye.